Hello everyone and welcome to Python programming tutorials. So in this particular tutorial sessions we will be looking at the basics and how we can execute programs and functions and all those features in programming using Python programming. So I hope and I assume that our viewers are have some prerequisites like they should have at least basics in C programming or C++ or Java. At least basics are required, not advanced but at least basics. So keeping in mind, I even advise my viewers to go through our documentation for tutorials regarding Python. So this is very much helpful and it will be very much easy to follow our tutorials in coding. So we will begin with very simple statements and examples so that it will be very much easier for the beginner to get started. So going to program menu, programming, and then I'll choose Jenny programming IDE, which is very good and user friendly for writing Python programs. So again I'll go with start. So I'll just create a new file and then I'll start writing. I will start with the hashtag, that is I'm going to write a comment statement. Comment statement doesn't get compiled by the compiler, it skips the compilation and it even skips the execution. So that, and because it means it is meant only for the user, for the reader to follow what's going on in the programming. For what is the following set of statements, what does it do, what function it has. So it is very much helpful for the user to follow it. Okay, so I will use this and say I'm printing strings. How, let's see how we can print strings. I will just simply write print and then single quotes and then say a very famous phrase for the beginners. Python world, sorry I'm sorry, hello world. So I'm ending the statement with the single quote even, and then let's go and save it and say okay, it's already there. I will just overwrite it. Okay, it's saved. So let's go to build, say compile, and it is compiled successfully. Even we can go directly to execute and say execute. So you can see hello world is printed. We have simply printed using a print statement. So and then we will proceed further and just check other syntaxes. So Python allows multiple syntaxes for printing statement, so we'll see that also. Print double quotes, this also works, ending with double quotes. Let's save it and say execute. Yes, it is printing, this also works. Okay, so again we will see one more syntax. We can even use closing and opening braces and just say use single quotes. We will simply say it weighs. Okay, let's save it and go to execute and check it. Okay, it says it weighs. All three strings have been printed successfully. So we will now check how we can print a variable. Okay, for that I will just define simple variable, say a equal to 10. So if I say print a, it will print value stored in a. So let's save it and say execute. Okay, the value stored in a is 10. 10 is printed here. So we'll go further and print using set of strings, a phrase, and how we can print a combination of variable and strings. Okay, so I'm using single quote, or you can even use double quotes here, and then say the value stored in A is percentile D. Okay, all right, and then we should say percentile A because the value stored in variable is A. So we should end the statement with percentile A, and percentile D because the variable is integer defined. That's why we are using percentile D. Let's save it, go to build and say execute. Okay, good. So you can see we have already seen till here the value stored in A is 10. Okay, now after this we can even print string. So let's first define here s is equal to okay. Now I'm going to print here. Okay, so let's see, I'm going to print value stored in s, and since it's a strings I'm using percentile s character and ending with the s because s now is a variable, string variable here defined. So let's see, save it, go to build and say execute. Okay, the value stored in s is first program. So that's what we have programmed here. So I hope it is much easier to understand, and if any questions you have, you can post in the comment box below. So thank you for watching and see you next tutorials.